Hey, we're at GDC with Liv Games, who are going to be showing us Stellar Wars. So, go nuts.
All right. So here we have our basically follow-up to Legendary Wars and Monster Wars. It's a new title or a new IP that we're creating, set in a very far distant future. Basically, there's a civilization that was going around in their own universe until all of the resources were depleted. They had to pack up everything into this mothership and drift off into space, and about, I don't know, 100,000 years or so has passed, and now they've drifted into this new section or quadrant of deep, deep space where there's this new resource now that has awakened their ship, and they're now trying to restart that. So this is a first level, very similar to old school Legendary Wars, but with a ton of new units and lots of new art. Alright, so as you can see, it has some of the same gameplay that you're going to be used to from our previous titles.
Right.
One of the main things that we did in this new title is that we basically completely overhauled the animation system. So instead of using a sprite-based system where it's flip booking, these are all being done through Flash, and it's being interpolated live, and it basically has made it so that we have unlimited frames in our animation. And it's also tweening between them and all kinds of nice stuff. Really
awesome.
Pushing the boundaries.
Was that easier or harder for you guys from a tech standpoint?
That was a lot harder to put the skeleton animation in, but it allows every character to be over 200 frames, so super smooth all the walk.
It also allows us to do the iPad Retina graphics.
And that's what you're looking at right now, which we never were able to do. It's a texture space.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It's also going to allow us to make much larger enemies, which is really important to us because we want to make the game feel very epic and grand. So big huge worms and stuff are going to pop out of the ground that are 10 times the size of your regular little enemy, which again in a sprite-based system just wouldn't allow it because you couldn't keep all those sprites on or all those frames on one sprite sheet. So Orion here is showing off a number of the new units. We have our Libbot, who is our tier 1 unit that we only have showing here. So when you first start, again, it's been about 100,000 years since they left their own district, so they're in disarray and rusty. And only after you've kind of worked with them in a while and upgraded them do they become like the ships or the robots that you see here, where they're much more pristine and pretty looking.
Cool.
One of the also things, since we do have this new system, we can really push the animations that we're creating. So we're really having a lot of fun designing these characters and what they do. As you can see here, this unit is 3 little robots that function as one unit. And then when Orion saves up enough little special here, we can show off what they do.
Yeah, what's really cool, I mean, this is from Legendary Wars too, is we have this special button where you can, on the robots, you can charge up, and they all have really powerful special attacks. So once this is full, these guys will turn into one big robot.
Oh, awesome.
And create some havoc. So, and I can also control everyone at once. So I'm going to send everyone right now and see how it goes. Get a big war going on, try to get this big guy to win. That's basically the objective. And every bad guy also has special attacks. This guy, I don't know if he'll do it, but there we go. Got some blasting going on with those guys. Let's see what we can do with 5 of these. Some special attacks. There's a lot melee versus range. There's a whole rock paper scissors. So you got to kind of sometimes hit guys from the back and gang up on them. There's a lot of unit control. You can go as much micro as you want with these, or you can just kind of automatically send everyone to attack one guy.
The game has a lot of hidden depth. For example, even the little miner in the back, when he comes out of the mine, you can instantly click him to collect that resource and send him back in, or he'll automatically return it to the castle, but there's a little bit of a time penalty for just not paying attention.
Right.
However, it's not so much to the point where you can't continue to play, so really novice players or young players or just not hardcore gamers can completely function in the title, but it really gives the edge to those people that want to put the levels in. Plus we have multiple difficulties in the game, so it really allows them to push those edges and get more and more resources and further into the title.
And here we're going into the mothership. You collect experience with ore, and you can upgrade your characters. And then one of the cool things with the robots, you can go in, and once you get enough ore from there, you can go in and upgrade your ships, and you can upgrade your robots with different parts and different weapons, and all their systems change. So kind of a cool.
This looks really good for such an early build. I mean, if you're calling this an alpha, that's crazy.
Yeah,
I would say it's still pre-alpha actually.
Wow. This is our hunter. We upgraded everything. So once he's fully upgraded, you can go in and suit him up with new armor. So gonna do right now, we'll show you one of the really cool.
Yeah, we have a brand new. Basically, we didn't want to just release what we had with Legendary Wars. We feel that every time we give something new to like the customer base, they need to be given actually something new, right?
Yeah.
So every time you move between a planet, you can't just walk there like you did in Legendary Wars or Monster Wars, right? So we've added in a whole new space system, which is our 2D space scrolling, our side-scrolling, like kind of Gradius style shooters.
Yeah, it's heavily influenced by all our old, like,
cool.
old school shooters. And with the ships, you'll be able to upgrade with different weapons as well, and collect power-ups. It's kind of a 2D side-scrolling RPG, so I can get little different weapons, upgrades. So here we're going through asteroid field to the ice planet. And I'll just go through and get through the asteroids, pick a couple power-ups, get a couple of new characters, and you'll be able to have 12 different weapons. There's missiles, spread, fire, these little co-pilots you can get on, lasers, etc. So
it's a big system. Also, what we wanted to do is make it still feel like Legendary Wars. So in the beginning of all these levels, basically, it's going to have a selection of 12 different options for your ship and how it kind of functions. And then once you select those, I've actually created like different variations to the ship. So if you select like the spread shot, for example, it modifies the front of your ship to have a spread shot weapon attached to it. Or if you have like the ore collector, which basically makes all those ores, instead of bouncing around or passing by you, will actually suck to your ship, right? So you don't have to spend time focusing and getting those. But those are decisions that the player get to make, because they can sacrifice, offense for defense, or cool things like collecting ore.
Yeah.
And again, those all have visual representations for the ship. Which is cool again. Also, again, this same stuff's going to use that animation system. None of this stuff's animated. Again, it's still early alpha. But it's going to be doing lots of animations, showing you, like the ships blasting and, transforming into different things. We're going to have huge bosses come out. The boss that we have here is, again, also temporary.
How big is the team that you guys have making this?
We're 5 full-timers and 4 part-timers. Got a lot of part-time art team. Yeah.
Yep. So, this is actually like a brand new, they integrated a brand new engine inside of our game to handle this. Since the regular game is lane-based, and you can see this one doesn't have any lanes or anything to that nature, you move backwards and forwards and up and down. Orion programmed this guy. This is, again, just temporary and for fun, but if you watch his pattern, he's doing the Konami code as far as his attack pattern. Up, down, left, right, A, B, etc.
Cool. Okay.
We could show one cool planet. So we were passing by the ice planet. We're going to go ahead and go in and show you one of the last different levels we got here, which is ice.
A big storyline, actually, big storyline in this thing is basically when you first arrive in this section of space, the first things that you're going to encounter on this planet are these insectoid creatures that you saw in the first level. But about halfway through the campaign, and this is spoilers for anyone that actually is interested in the story, you're going to uncover that there's a aggressive race called the Aggressi that are like this, as you'll see here, like kind of lizardy dragon race that are also technologically advanced, and they're coming through space and just destroying and eating planets, kind of like the Galactus type enemy, right? They're just all about destruction and stealing everything versus starting and bringing life to the world. And so once they encounter you and you encounter them, they also become this major antagonist in the game, and they start controlling Aggressi and using them against you and all kinds of stuff. And we plan to have Aggressi with their tech built onto them and stuff like that, which will all be done through art and whatnot. But
here's one of my favorite units, the sniper. He's super weak, but he's fast and can shoot him from super far. So you kind of, if you micromanage him, you can keep him pretty safe from a long distance. You can get away pretty quick.
Yeah, again, since this is set in the far future, it's not a fantasy game, we also have a lot more ranged units, because they all have laser blasters and things like that. So it's been a big challenge to start for us to figure out how to balance these things and still keep that same amount of gameplay where it's going to move back and forth and have some challenge, because if you just have 60 units that can shoot at a range, then it becomes very easy to defend against everything that's coming. So as you can see, this big boss on this level has a giant shield in front of him, and so we've put parameters on them where that guy blocks laser fire up until, if you move up in front of him, you'll see.
I'm trying to get away. Yeah, I see his shield blocks him.
And we'll obviously add graphics and things that tell you oh, you're being blocked and whatnot.
Yeah.
But the idea of this guy is that you know, he uses his shield and then gets next to you and then attacks you with melee attacks, which are potentially devastating because, you know, all these units are used to fighting at a range.
Yeah, that's cool.
Let's see if I can defeat him here.
And units like these ones that are flying, you know, they'll appear in space potentially and things like that as different enemies that you can encounter. You know, we want to have, I think, at launch, there's going to be 3 tiers for every character, just like there was in Legendary Wars and Monster Wars, with you know, the expanding updates to bring in new tiers of armor and new content, just like we did with our previous titles.
Yeah,
Cool.
we supported Legendary Wars for 2 years with free updates, and that was really successful. And that's the base.
So
of
here's the
Stellar Wars.
overworld map, as you were seeing. Again, this ship is a little doodle that we did just to have the placement stuff, but
Yeah.
this is the section of space that the down in the right corner where the aggressor are going to be located when you encounter them. But in the beginning of the level, that's going to be covered with like a fog of war from the beginning of the game.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Looks really good,
Stellar
guys.
Wars. We're hoping to get it out this summer.
Great. Awesome. Thanks for showing it.
Cool. Yeah,
Thank
sure.
you.